Good evening, everyone. It is time for the Hillbilly Think Tank. This is Spencer Keck coming at you from Hardin County, Kentucky. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news, and here at the Hillbilly Think Tank, some of the folks closest to my heart are veterans, my students, since I'm a public school teacher, and farmers. I just really believe that when I was fighting for our country in the military in my 20 plus year career in the U.S. Navy Hospital Corps, where I took care of sailors and Marine Corps infantry folks um, over that career. One thing I really always thought about was back here in Kentucky and other rural places that I've lived all over America, including Texas, Montana, and Arkansas. I really, really believed that it was the farmers that really hold up our nation. That's who feed us. That's who makes sure that we have the healthy food that we need to survive. Without our farmers, what are we fighting for? You maybe it's just because I got to live in a lot of rural places throughout my childhood and throughout my life, but I really feel that's the backbone of America. That is the heartbeat. Take away our food, you've taken away our heart, you've taken away our life. So, that being said, really strikes me as just still astounding that since 1997, the United States has lost 300,000 farms. So we're really at a race to the bottom right now when it comes to how many more farms can we lose before we completely lose a part of our culture that we can't get back. And we're past that tipping point already. Look at the fact that right now we know our farmers this year are being crushed by these tariffs, by the fact that the soybeans have been rotting on the vines, frozen now, and they're not being sold to our former biggest market, China. And why is that? Why aren't we eating enough of what we grow here in America? Because we're actually importing more food to eat feed ourselves than we actually grow. And yet we're a very large country with a lot of farmland. So why is it we need to import more than we even eat ourselves? And yet we're also destroying our exports. So what's happened is, guys, if you don't know it, we have farmers right now suffering under monopolies. Cargill, Bayer, and two other corporations, global corporations, they control the market. That's the only places that farmers can sell their grains to. When you have a monopoly, farmers don't get a fair shake. So what is it that we need in order for farmers to get a fair shake? Well, number one, let's look at who's in charge of agriculture right now. We know Secretary Scott Bessent talks about being a farmer. He says, "Oh, I'm a farmer. I own soy farms," because he owns thousands of acres around the U.S. But his primary job and his primary way of making his millions, billions, is as a hedge fund manager. Does that sound like someone who you and I can relate to? That the average American can relate to a hedge fund manager. He calls himself a farmer. Now, it's these hedge fund managers that make deals with global corporate interests, such as Cargill and Bayer, that now control all the grain markets. They're the only place that farmers can sell their grains to. That's why we've lost 300,000 farms, is that these monopolies are pushing our farmers to the brink. Every year, when we have to give out bailouts to the farmers, it's really that bailout is not going to the farmer. It's going to these monopolies, such as Cargill, such as John Deere, and the other. Now we only have a couple of farm implement companies. And also, when these farmers owe all these companies, all those bailouts go straight to those companies. So these are corporate bailouts, end up not being farm bailouts. And does Cargill care that the American farmers that owe them can't sell their grains to Cargill, their American grains, the American soybeans and other grains? No, they don't care, because they also buy from Argentina and Brazil. What does that mean? Well, that means that they have already set up Argentina to get a bailout. From who? From our government, from our president. Remember how during the shutdown, he gave $40 billion to bail out Argentina? Yeah, that's because President Milei of Argentina is hand in hand with Scott Bessent. They've been working the hedge funds and the farm monopolies, agricultural monopolies, for years. They're invested deeply in Cargill, Bayer, and these other companies. And they make sure that these bailouts go straight to these companies. Does that sound fair to you? Doesn't sound fair to me. So, $40 billion, we sell out our country during a shutdown. We sell out our farmers. And now, really, who's winning here for this? Well, Xavier, I don't think. I got Xavier Covarrubias making some comments here. Yeah, Xavier, I don't think that you and I are winning, right? Not at all. I don't think that American farmers are winning. China's winning. Argentina's winning. Brazil is winning. Hello there, Acacia Watson. Good to see you on. Welcome aboard. So, what can we do so that farmers don't keep going belly up? We don't keep losing them. 300,000 farms lost since 1997. That's a lot of America lost. Right? We're bailing out not the farmers, but the corporations that are making money off of those farmers, that are selling them down the river. So what can we do? Well, we could get into some supply management programs. All right. We could have a price floor for all the farmers so that their growth of soybeans, wheat, corn, all these products that they need to sell are performance based, right? And we can end these bailout programs and save $100 billion in the next decade that will go to these farmers and not to Cargill and not to Bayer. But we won't keep bailing out those big corporations, but we'll actually save our farmers. And welcome Acacia Watson there from Oklahoma. Oh man, see that it's snowing over there. Okay, We're supposed to be getting some snow here in Kentucky soon too. Expecting that shortly. It's cold. All right. So y'all, what do you think? Do you think that supply management and, giving price floors to our farmers so that they know that they're going to get a fair price for the bushels that they produce every year, and it's going to be guaranteed? You know, is that a good idea? Or should we just keep on letting these monopolies price our farmers out of business and dry up our rural communities? I don't think that's a good idea. I'd like to see your thoughts, though. And let's save America's farms. All right. Save rural America, because that is, again, the heartbeat of America, and we got to save it. I didn't fight wars overseas to watch the heart of our country dry up. All right. I fought so that we could save regular America and not monopolies. I didn't fight to save monopolies. Y'all have a great evening. Remember, we are our neighbors' best friend, right? We love our neighbors as ourselves, and our farmers are our neighbors. We're our brothers' keepers. We're our sisters' keepers. God bless you, corazon. Have a great evening, and let's all win this together.